Hello and welcome everyone. Here we are today to discuss the energies of this new moon in Aquarius that happens on the 21st of January. And this is the first new moon in 2023. And it happens on the first degree of Aquarius. And first degree can be very critical degree. And this first degree is very important because it's very young energy, the energy of newness and freshness. And this new moon in Aquarius also makes conjunction with Pluto in a Capricorn on the last degrees of Capricorn. So Pluto is on the 29th degree of Capricorn, while this new moon is first degree of Aquarius. And these degrees, 29th and the first degree, are anaretic, critical degrees, very karmic degrees. And there is a huge energy of something that is ending and something that is beginning. There are some big endings, big chapters are ending and big chapters are beginning. And this will influence us on a very deep and on a collective level as well, because Aquarius deals with collective consciousness, with group consciousness. And the moment of this new moon holds the potential of beginnings and imagining and visioning. So new moon encompasses the moment of emptiness in which all potential exists. So it's the infinite field of potential. So anything is possible during this time. And it's really a magical time if we are aware and if we are conscious of what this energy means. It's very potent and high. If we want to really put our conscious effort into making some change, some magical change in our life, some revolutionary change, because Aquarius is about revolution. And these are revolutionary ideas. So we are now planting these seeds of future that are rooted in truth and authenticity and uniqueness, which are all Aquarius qualities. And we need to clarify, to get clear about what it is that wants to rise from within. What do we need to water? What do we need to nourish? What do we need to nurture in our life so that it grows and that we really want to see developed? What do we really want to see developed in our life? And this moment, because of the conjunction with Pluto, and Pluto is the Lord of the underworld, the planet of transformation, rebirth and death and loss, and getting down into the basement to clear it, to clean it, to purge it, to transform it. And this can be a moment of breaking away from the old, because there is so much that needs to happen to expand into the new, because Aquarius is very much about the future. And we are invited to witness those limits and labels that have been keeping us imprisoned, that kept us limited in some way, that kept us locked inside those boxes. So now it's time to open the door, to step through the door, to walk through those doors and to see what's on the other side of those doors. And we are invited from the other side. This is an invitation into initiation from the other side, and we are walking towards that other side now. And the Aquarius archetype and the ruler Uranus, they are very much connected to, getting out of the comfort zone and thinking outside of the box. And thinking outside of the limits, thinking outside of those imposed rules and regulations, breaking the rules. And we may be breaking some rules, and we are actually asked to break some of our own rules. Let's break some rules, let's break some limitations, let's break some of those old structures. But during this process of breaking down these structures, we may see that these structures were not ours at all. We have absorbed them and we have confused them to believe that they are ours. But these patterns were not ours. They were just absorbed because of the system, because of the social norms and social standards and the matrix that we live in. So we accepted these patterns and we lived according to those patterns, and we all took some roles according to those patterns, according to rules, according to limitations, and we took different roles and we played them. But now it's really time to get out of the comfort zone. Get out of the comfort zone. Let's see every day, let's observe ourselves, and let's see on our daily level what can we do every day that is taking us out of our comfort zone. Every day let's do something that is taking us out of that comfort zone, which is not actually a comfort zone. It's something that actually keeps us stuck in the same old track that we keep replaying. So we are now going to see these boxes that we've been living inside. And it's, as I many times say, it's not time to think outside of the box. It's time to understand and to realize, to see through that there is no box at all. But we've been living in that illusion. We have been living in that illusionary box, and we have explored every corner of this box. We know every single trick of that box, of our own reality, of our own matrix. And during this time we may be able to see how this box has been shaped and programmed, how we created it, how it came into life. And now we can transform this box and, like unfold it completely so that this box disappears and we come as new people born from this box. So we are being rebirthed. So it's like we are coming out of the egg. So something needs to crack from the inside so that the crack can, break, and so that we can come out of it. And when we come out of it, we see that this was just a shell keeping us safe. But when we grew up and overcame some obstacles and certain things that we've been, restricted by and limited by, we then get an opportunity to become newborn, to become born again into this reality. And this is a time when stagnancy begins to clear and the tensions moves away from the past into the future. Mercury just stationed direct. Mercury has been retrograde, and Mercury stationed direct on the 18th of January. Mars has been retrograde between 30th of October and 12th of January, so Mars is also direct. Uranus also stations direct now. So we will have all planets in direct motion, which is really, really good, because we are going to finally be able to move forward and to see some results of many efforts and actions and energy that we have invested in certain things, in certain projects, in our work on ourselves, in healing ourselves, in cleansing ourselves, in on so many levels. We are going to start seeing results, and we are going to be able to finally do something and to see concrete result of something, and not like we are doing something but we don't see any progress. And actually many of us may realize now that the only real progress is the evolution of our soul's journey. That's the only real progress that there is in this life. All other progresses are illusionary, and we are now going to focus more on our to shift our focus from looking at this life from only physical lens, towards looking into this life and our reality and ourselves through the metaphysical lens. So let's shift from the physical towards the metaphysical, so that we can see that the only real progress is really our evolution, the journey of our own soul. And it's Aquarius energy is very mentally driven. It's an intellectual thinker, and it's future-oriented, innovative, independent, freedom-oriented, and the archetype part in us steps beyond the known, and it's very daring to go into the unknown and search for the truth, research, scientific things, innovative things, things that are, way out of our ability to understand it now. So this is something very futuristic. That's why archetype of Aquarius is very much related to technology. And it's interesting because we cannot talk about Aquarius without mentioning the Age of Aquarius. And I spoke about this a little bit in previous video about the 2023. So all of you who haven't seen or watched until now, I highly recommend you go and watch 2023 video of on Moon Omens channel, because I mentioned some of these interesting topics of major themes of 2023, and there we speak about Aquarius also, because Pluto will enter Aquarius, and now this new moon is actually like some little spark and initiation of that Aquarius energy again, because Pluto will enter Aquarius in March. And now we have new moon, the first one of 2023, making a conjunction with Pluto, and new moon is in Aquarius. So this is like we've been given those metaphysical lens, and we can see through reality a little bit clearer. We have ability to know something that is beyond our field of knowing, and we can break through some of our limitations, and we can understand that diversity is the key. Diversity is really the key. We are not all the same. We have to understand that we are all unique, but we are not all the same. And this is the power of the Age of Aquarius, and the power of the group consciousness, the power of collective consciousness, is when we are all diverse, unique, authentic, original, innovative, when we are all very original beings, not copies. And the phrase that says all for one and one for all has much deeper meaning than just rational perception of that. It has much deeper meaning, because this means that all parts of us work for our essence, and that this essence of ourselves works for all parts of us as well. And then this reflects in our community, external, in our world, with our friends, with our family, with our team of people. This is all that Aquarius represents. Aquarius represents groups of people, social circles, social structures, communities, local communities, global communities, team of people, internet communities, all kinds of communities and groups of people. But it's also about individuation, individuality. It's about the uniqueness of being diverse, original, and authentic. So we may have, some of us may have this twisted perception of unity, but we have to see that we are one only through diversity. And diversity came from oneness. So from the source, many different, unique sparks have been spread. And these unique, different, diverse sparks and souls, they make oneness. So we are not all the same. Let's remember this. We are not supposed to copy others. We are here to be our original selves, not to copy, but mainly what we see in our world, not only today, but since for a long time, is that we only copy people. We copy and paste, we copy and paste. We forgot how to be original selves. And technology also does the same. Technology copies human abilities, And then we think that technology is more advanced than us, and we give our power away to technology, when in reality technology copies our own abilities. And we have to see that there is something that unites us all, and that makes this technology possible in the first place, and this is technology of consciousness. Technology of consciousness means there are no uniforms, in every way, on every level. No uniform on energetic level, on spiritual level, on physical level, on mental, on every level. And we now are going through a reverse process. We have been split, we have been separated, and now we are coming back to ourselves. We are traveling from diversity into oneness, from separation into unification, from diffusion into fusion. And in the world of science and technology, nobody ever taught us about the magic of the fusion. We only know about diffusion, how to diffuse, but we don't know how fusion works. So we are now coming and collecting ourselves and we are bringing that unity from the separate pieces. And Aquarius archetype is explosive, eccentric, rebellious, revolutionary, original, but can also be detached and cold. But it's also humanitarian and innovative and friendly and scientific and genius. So there are many, many different levels of how archetype of Aquarius can manifest. And there are, of course, higher and lower expressions also, because also Aquarius is ruled by two titans, Saturn and Uranus. And we've been all collectively experiencing the conflict between these two archetypes, between Saturn and Uranus lately. They have been in a square aspect with each other, and now this aspect is about to disappear, and they are going to become friends again. They are coming into friendly aspect in this year, in 2023. They will be in trine, and we will see how this shift from the square into trine is happening in ourselves, in our relationships with our friends, with people, with society, and with everyone around us. We will see how these things that have been intense, that have been challenging, that have been traumatic, that have been very heavy, are now resolving, because Aquarius loves to solve problems. Problem solver, very original solutions. And we are now between this Saturn and Uranus process of, Saturn is something that is finite, while Uranus is infinite. Saturn is limited, while Uranus is unlimited. And the Aquarius archetype carries both of these processes. So we may feel a bit confused, because we are between the limited and unlimited. And Aquarius is also dealing with paradoxes, and we may be challenged with these paradoxes in a way that we have to learn how to handle paradoxes. And we are responsible for what we do with what we are given. We have to understand that we have to take responsibility for the things that are given to us, responsible with technology that we use, responsible with the free will that we are given, responsible with our emotions, with our reactions, and responsibility and awareness of responsibility, very important. Responsibility, Saturn, awareness of responsibility, Uranus. And the question is, are we spoiled or are we responsible? Do we prefer to stay spoiled, to run away from all the responsibilities, to run away from growing up, to run away from living life, to run away from gaining self-esteem, to run away from becoming true human being, as I always say, lately, because Aquarius is very important archetype now in the Age of Aquarius, and the accent is really on becoming that true human being, on being born as a human being, because being born into this world doesn't mean that we are human beings just because we are born into this physical realm. It's something that we have to become. It's something that we are working on continuously. We have to work on becoming that human being. We have to work on our on everything, on our self-betterment, self-development, self-improvement. So we have to invest in these things. And are we spoiled or responsible? Really, that's a good question. And we may see that once we take responsibility, once we choose, once we decide to take the responsibility, the waterfall of knowledge will flood us. And this is the archetype of Aquarius again, the water bearer, the light bringer, the Prometheus, the one who pours down the wisdom from the urn. So pouring out the wisdom onto us. And this is very good because thanks to this wisdom that is being poured onto us, we are able to heal those traumas, untreated wounds, untreated depression, untreated issues, all things that we've been ignoring because they are untreated, and they turn into bigger and bigger and bigger shadow when we don't treat these things. And we just keep suppressing. And as we keep suppressing, these things are just like getting bigger and bigger. And now this new moon can initiate this confrontation with how big our shadow actually is. And we may see it in the collective. So what we see in the collective, what we blame in the collective, is a very precise reflection of how big our own shadow is. Let's not forget this, it's very important, because we may fall into those tricks that we believe that what we see outside of us has nothing to do with us. And then it's easier to blame, and especially it's easier if we find like-minded people, and then together we talk about how messy the world that we live in is, but we don't see how messy we are inside of us. So this is really a moment to understand these things and to handle paradoxes and to ask ourselves, are we in the same team, and or in which team we are? Which team? And real unity, to understand what real unity is. Real unity doesn't mean that we are all the same, that we are all on the same page. Real unity is peace. Real unity means to bring into union our inner split and divided nature, and to understand that we cannot fill the emptiness and the void through external images. External images cannot do these things. And maybe our task is not to fill the void at all, but to understand the void, to accept the void within us, and to see it as a portal, as a powerful gateway through which we can walk through. It's the black hole in us. And black hole, I think that science has been leading us into wrong direction by teaching us about black holes as something scary, something that just swallows everything and everything just disappears into nothingness. These things cannot be understood by our logical and rational and physical perception and mind. We have to use our intuition. We have to use our metaphysical eyes, our inner eyes. We have to open from the inside to flourish, to open those petals from the inside and to accept things that we don't understand, and to allow ourselves to see things beyond the thoughts, to understand things beyond thoughts, and to see that these black holes and voids don't have to be filled with anything. As long as we try to fill them with things, I said these things, the shadow becomes bigger. So the point is to walk through that black hole, walk through the void, accept it, feel it, let it breathe. Let it breathe, because this black hole is actually our collective womb. And this age of Aquarius is actually the age of information. But information should lead us into transformation. Information shouldn't keep us stuck into mental loops, into mental patterns, into just sharing things, getting lost into theories. But let's use information as fuel for transformation. And we have to awaken our inner technology. This is the greatest potential that we have. And we can really do this now. We can do this anytime. And any time is good for waking up. There is no better or worse time for waking up. All our life we are being warned by certain alarms. We always hear these alarms, but we ignore them and we don't want to wake up. We just push them aside and we keep sleeping. So it's time to answer to those alarms and give our best, give the best of ourselves to wake up, to wake up our inner technology, and to understand that we live in a traumatic world. We really live in a traumatic world, and that's not the problem. Trauma is not the problem, but how we treat those traumas and how we perceive those traumas, the way we treat them, the way we perceive them is the problem. But trauma itself is not the problem. This whole world is based on trauma. And this trauma is also our fuel for transformation. Our trauma is given to us in order for us to understand it, to transform it, to use it as our tool for growth. And we know how big social anxiety is these days. Social anxiety has become a very big issue. And this new moon in Aquarius may show us this on a collective level. We may see something happening on a collective level that reminds us of how big social anxiety is and how big traumatic world this is. But our task is not to to get absorbed by those collective energies of trauma and social anxiety, but to choose freedom, Aquarius, freedom. We have freedom to choose our frequency, to tune into our own frequency, and to see how powerful we are actually and how we can affect the world. And then from that point we have an ability to do something about these social anxieties that exist around us, that are constantly around us. And we are going to maybe see how big how huge amount of people are socially rejected, and we may see how we collectively behave towards those individuals who are socially rejected by this or that reason. We may be shocked. Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, we may be shocked. And on the other side we have the ancient ruler of Aquarius, Saturn also in Aquarius, together with Venus during this time. So Saturn and Venus are in conjunction in Aquarius, together with this new moon in Aquarius, which is very interesting and intense and can be very limiting, can feel very restrictive, can feel like we want something, we want to achieve something beautiful, we want to, taste some love, Venus, but we may be restricted. Saturn in Aquarius, we may want to feel freedom in our social world, social freedom, but we may fall into social anxiety. So let's remember that we have freedom to choose how we are going to respond to these things, how are we going to perceive them, and how are we going to react to those things. This is what we can control. This is where we are free. This is what freedom is about. Freedom of choice, freedom of us choosing our own frequency, freedom of us choosing our own reactions, freedom of us choosing our own response. And we may see how easily we reject and ignore everything and everyone that is not approved by the system. And this is how we ignore our own traumas as well. So as long as we ignore and reject those people who are rejected by society, by the system, who are not approved, whose behavior is not approved, they're just pushed away into the side. They're just, you know, like they are there, you see them, but it's something scary, it's something shocking, it's something that we shouldn't see and don't like, so the system just removes them and it's suppressed, and then the collective shadow grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's how we live in the collective nightmare. So it's time to wake up from this collective nightmare. And we are actually waking up, some sooner, some later, but we are all on this mission now. And we may see how these untreated traumas, untreated wounds, and untreated issues, collective and individual, how they affect us all on a very deep level. These things are deeply rooted in our being. And how we treat those who are removed from the society. We don't even know they exist. We don't even know the stories. We don't even know how some people walk through this world, and we think that that doesn't have to do anything with us, but whatever happens in the collective affects us deeply. And how the system approves something and how do we behave according to that will be very important now. And this is where we will see how we ignore our own traumas, because we have been giving our power away, and we have learned to behave in certain way that the system approves, so that we have a life that is accepted, behavior that is accepted. And this is now time to wake up to those things and to see that this is about the universal brotherhood. So as long as we keep removing people who are not approved by the system, as long as we keep ignoring these things, as long as we keep blaming those individuals, we keep suppressing our own trauma and making our shadow grow bigger. This is the process of deconditioning. So we may see something in the collective that we don't like, something that may be scary, something that may seem like a nightmare, and this should be a sign, an alarm for us to wake up. It's our collective nightmare, let's not forget it. It's not something that person or the group of people somewhere there did it, and it's nothing to do with us. We are pure, innocent, full of love. We only share beauty, love, and harmony. But those people there, they are dark. They do ugly stuff. But look at them and look at us. This is the division, us and them. And it's not about that. It's about us recognizing our own traumas and shadows, because these collective things help us. We should be thankful for those people or groups of people or those individuals who are rejected by the system, who are not approved, who are just removed into institutions, mental institutions, prisons, all kinds of things that are, for these kinds of psychic, emotional, spiritual, dysfunctional behaviors. And it's something that is giving us an opportunity to recognize our own traumas, our own suppressed not only emotions, but suppressed desires, suppressed images, suppressed dreams, suppressed everything. And we may see how much we have suppressed, how many of these things are suppressed. And this is the meeting of freedom and knowledge. We are going to see their union, freedom and knowledge. And this is where our true power arises, when we are free and when we know. And we should all work towards getting there, towards freedom and knowledge. But we should also invite that into our life. We don't have to go anywhere to find freedom and knowledge. We just have to open up to that by changing our perception, changing our mental patterns, changing our way of looking at reality, change our way of looking at collective nightmare, collective trauma, collective everything that we don't like, as well as in others individually. And this is something that challenges our status quo. It challenges us and inspires us to think of solutions that never occurred to us, solutions that we never thought of. We may find some of those solutions now. And it's time to honor our own unique genius selves, because we all carry inner genius within ourselves. This is the highest expression of Aquarius. The highest expression of Aquarius is the genius. And we all have that inner genius. So let's not forget that we are all geniuses in something, to some, in some area of life we are genius. And we have to find that. We have to open up to ourselves and treat our traumas, see them as our guides. Let's talk to our traumas. Why don't we talk to them? We don't have to evoke them. We don't have to live through them again, but we can allow them to exist, but we are suppressing them. We keep suppressing them continuously. And talking about them is not the solution either. That's not that's not how we solve these things. It's not about talking about traumas. It's more of an inner, intimate, deep process of feeling, deep feeling. And this energy really inspires us to create the world that we want to live in, and not to accept the world that already exists. Not to accept, just accept everything that is given to us without trying to be creative, without trying to be creator that we are. So we need to understand our own energy and to reveal what is true to us, what is imprinted upon us from, as I say many times, from our parents, from our teachers, from our society. We have to peel off those layers to find our core authentic truth and to discover our true self beyond what is expected of us. To learn to stay true to ourselves no matter how hard others may try to keep us under the same, into the same boxes, into the same labels, trying to put us back into those boxes. Let's not give our shadow that privilege. Let's do our best to unfold that box, as I said in the beginning of this video, and see that the box wasn't there ever, but we accepted it for some reasons in order to be accepted by certain group of people, because we all want to belong somewhere. And Aquarius, this is Aquarius archetype as well. We want to be accepted by society, but we may also be rebellious towards society. So we are looking for others. We are looking for other outsiders that we can come together with and make a revolution. And this is not about making those kinds of revolutions, but it's about our inner revolution, our waking up that inner genius and seeing that we don't want to conform to other people's view of the world. We have to build our own and become aware of where or how we may be, accepting to be less than we are, just because we want to please others or just because we want to be accepted. Where and how we are conforming or shrinking in order to be accepted by others, in order to please others. So You know, this is the sense of belonging, and we have to create that sense of belonging with ourselves. Do we belong to ourselves? Do we belong to our higher selves? What about the divine energy? Who do we belong to, really? And let's see if this belonging is serving me or not. Is it just destroying me? Maybe this belonging is destroying me. We may see that you know, we have been sacrificing so much of our authenticity just in order to be accepted by society, or by friends, or by certain group of people, or by certain community. We may see that we have been sacrificing so much of our treasure, of our true golden authenticity, just in order to be accepted by others. And it's normal, it's natural for us that we want to feel like we fit into the world and we fit in with others. But now it's time to wake up that individuality, our uniqueness, and to see if we are adjusting our behavior in any way in order for us to belong to a certain group of people. Are we doing those adjustments? Are we putting ourselves down? Are we suppressing our true selves in order for us so that we don't lose certain belonging or certain, you know, role in the world that we play? So instead of masking ourselves, instead of putting the mask, let's challenge ourselves to be who we are at our core being. And when we do this, those people who do the same, who challenge themselves in the same way, will soon be around us. And this is what happens naturally. It's something that happens very quickly, actually. And we can actually be together in unity with people, even if we don't agree with them, but we respect each other's diversity and uniqueness and authenticity. Not everyone has to think in the same way as we think. We don't have to see things in the same way. The more diverse, the better. So it's much better and it's more alive when we are together with people who see reality through different lens. So we don't judge them because of this. We don't try to prove them that they are wrong and that we are right, but we allow others to have their own freedom and to, you know, live in that diverse reality, but in peace. As I said, unity is about peace. It's not about being one and the same with everyone. So we have to show up in our most authentic selves and to shine in the brightest way. We shouldn't be worried about what others may say, either to us directly or behind our back. You know, Aquarius teaches us this. Aquarius is teaching us to lead through our own example and not by other people's opinions and behaviors. And we have to challenge our thoughts, we have to challenge our assumptions, and to challenge our automatic responses, to challenge our conditioned behavior and our programs, to see if we are immersed into complaining, or do we choose to be in the frequency of gratitude. So are we in the frequency of complaining or in the frequency of gratitude? What do we choose? Which side do we choose? Which team do we choose? And are we on the same team? Which frequency would I rather choose to be in? Because sometimes we find so much comfort in complaining. I spoke about this already previously, but it's really important to know if we are finding some comfort in complaining. This can be addictive, and we again sacrifice our authenticity and our true potential sacrifice our pleasure because we find comfort in complaining, or we find comfort into something else that is pulling us down. And it's time to see that these comforts are not really comforts. They are just lack of willingness to rise above and to grow from within, to see what wants to rise from within, what needs to rise. Become aware of those patterns that are not ours, that don't belong to us. This process of deconditioning may show us that so many things that we thought belong to us don't actually belong to us at all. We may see that so many beliefs, so many emotional patterns and mental programs don't actually belong to us at all. They are not ours. They have nothing to do with us, but we accepted them for some reasons, out of fear, out of all kinds of fears. Fear is always there to squeeze us and to put us back into that box, into that comfort, into that complaining game, into that complaining and blaming game again. And we can shift now this and we can open up for new patterns that we are going to create now. So we are breaking those patterns that belong to those who are not us. So we are breaking those energies and patterns and programs that belong to someone else. And we can be an example to others during this time. We can show others what it's like when we live our own truth and not somebody else's truth. And we are leading through our own frequency. And this is something, deeply affects, those around us. And it also deeply affects what we attract into our field. And this Age of Aquarius is something that is very big and complex to understand now from this level perhaps, but it's actually very simple, as everything that is in the beginning complex and big, it's actually very simple, and we have to start contributing to that understanding. It's time to understand what it really means to be born again as a human being, to wake up from illusions of being in certain boxes, from removing certain labels that we accepted just because we wanted to be accepted by others, by our parents, by our families, by our friends, our environment, our teachers, our governments, whoever. We are removing those labels. We don't have to play those roles. We didn't sign up for that. We don't have any contract where we said we are going to play that role for the rest of our lives. But we are somehow scared to break away from those roles that we've been playing our whole lives. Like, so who am I then if I remove that role completely? Who am I then? That's a scary question, of course, but it's also very liberating because it gives us a clean state, empty canvas. It's a point of infinite potential. Like, we don't have to be any role concretely, but we can choose any role we want to play. We don't have to play one role until the rest of our life. We don't have to stay the same because someone we appreciate it, or someone who is an authority in our life sees us in certain way, and we don't want to disappoint someone. This is something that may be very strong during this time. So we are asked to rise above that conditioning, to decondition ourselves because of that, because this Saturn and Venus conjunction in Aquarius can actually help us do this. Even though it can be limiting and restrictive, it is only limiting and restrictive because of those self-limiting patterns. But if we choose to be authentic, if we choose to remove those masks, if we choose to play the role that we want to play, then this transit can help us, and it can help us in long term. This is something long term. Saturn is long term, and Venus is something beautiful and loving and something that has a good taste. It's something harmonious. So this can be long-term harmonious relationship with ourselves and with the community, with the social world. And we all hold a key to the puzzle of life. And we should really pay attention to what are we projecting outside of ourselves. What do we see in the world, and what do we see as something that is outside of us? Because what we see as something outside of us is direct message that that is something that we have been suppressing in ourselves. And we should really know that we can rewrite the story of where there's been trauma or negative experience. We can really rewrite it. And we create this protection around our heart. And we are exploring where we lack the need for being protected. We are going to explore those needs of being protected. And we have to learn our own individual, unique taste. And those we love the most are the ones we experience the hardest experiences with. This is the most delicate area, and Saturn-Venus conjunction in Aquarius can put us in those situations with others. Aquarius, our friends, our communities, our social circles, and Venus also rules our relationships, and Saturn is about authority figures, and Pluto is about the power. So we may see these power struggles with others, power struggle with authority figures, power struggles with our friends, power struggles with our partners, our business partners, our intimate partners. So these are power struggles, and what do we do with our power, and how do we treat the power in us, and who do we give our power away to, and how do we see who is powerful for us? What does it mean to be powerful? Pluto is so much about power. It's conjunction of this new moon, so that's why I mentioned this. So what does it mean to be powerful? Who is powerful for me? Who is a powerful person for me? What does it mean to be a powerful person? This will tell us a lot about ourselves. Who is powerful person for me? It will give us very good answer about ourselves. Don't live someone else's life. It's a reality check, and we will be checked and tested. It's really a reality check, and there is a deep healing that can happen during this time. We shouldn't lose ourselves to the other. So we have to accept the cards that are given to us. The deck is the same, but the combinations of the cards are very different. This world authentic. So let's live our original selves and not copy, because if we are copying, we are living in a world that is a copy. We don't live in original world. That's why it's said that we live in an illusion, Maya. It's an illusion, it's a dream, because we are not awake, we are sleeping, we are choosing the comfort zone, we are not we are living life out of fear, and we accepted certain things and roles because we have been afraid that we will be rejected, and the same way that we have seen other individuals being rejected and not approved by the system or parents or teachers or social standards. And it's really powerful and it can be very important to embrace our limitations as well. To honor in our individuality, to honor the structure, to honor our form, and to honor our limitation. And let's not see it as an obstacle, but let's honor these limitations. And this is, it's a period of an initiation in some way, and it's challenging us and testing us, and it's been pretty heavy we have eclipses and retrograde energy, and this is now not hard in that way, but it's very challenging and it's exciting. It has that adventurous taste. It has a taste of something new about to be born, something cracked, so that we can, get out of the shell, get out of the box, and see that there was no box or shell at all. We have been illusion. And Pluto also rules our soul. This is the history of our soul. Collective experiences, through experiences that we share with others, and we can see that we have to really become author of our own lives. This is authority, become an author of our own lives. And this is really, really important. It's not just something that we are saying here just for the sake of saying it. It's not just some energies that are happening there that are just interpretations. This is real story. It's something that deeply affects us on our mental level, on our physical level, on our emotional level, on our spiritual level. This affects us everywhere, all segments of our life, every cell of our body. And we are just leaving the box behind. And we have to see that there is nothing to be dominated in this world. When we really enter the field of unity, which is the field of peace, and as I said, the peace is when we bring those detached and split pieces of us into unity, and to see that there is nothing to be dominated. We don't need power in order to be dominant. We don't need power in order to manipulate. We don't need power in order to prove our supremacy, our dominance, our authority. Because once we are authentic, once we live our own life, once we are authors of our life, there is no need to prove anything. We just have that sense of authority already. We are already whole. And we see trauma as something helpful and as an assistant, not as our enemy. And this is also another lesson of this new moon, that we should see everything that we perceive as our enemy as actually our assistant, our friend, our companion. All our enemies, everything that we perceive as our enemy, the external world, the shocks, the wars, the poverty, the scarcity, everything that we perceive as our enemy, our own limitations, our own traumas, everything that we perceive as something that is against us or something that is against life. Let's try and honor these things. Let's see them as our helpers on the path. Let the soul take the reins of the will. you know, the reins of the horse, not our ego, but not our mind, but deeper. Let's go deeper. You know, it's rising up from our will, from our body, and it's more than thinking. It's just much more than thinking. And we haven't been taught how to trust our will, how to trust our instincts, how to trust our bodies. We have been told how to trust authorities, but we haven't been told how to trust ourselves. So now I'm telling you, trust yourselves, trust your instincts, trust your will, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and give yourself power to be authentic, to remove those masks. This is awareness of processes, technology of consciousness, change of pressure, and you know, surrendering. And practice takes time, so let's be patient. There is no rush. Let's not block anything. Let's not block our traumas. Let's not escape them. Let them, you know, by just letting them exist, letting them breathe. This black hole, let's meet our black hole. Let's not be afraid of that black hole. Let's see our black hole as a portal to our higher selves, and work on clearing our mind, clearing the path within ourselves, clearing our emotions through breathing as well. Our breathing is very important, and when we are breathing, we know that we are here. But let's never forget that we are much more than the one who breathes as well. We are the one who witnesses. The witness is always there. The witness within ourselves is eternal. The witness in ourselves is not our emotion, our thoughts, our patterns, our programs, our traumas. The witness is the one, and the witness knows. The witness carries our soul's history, and this history of the soul may be unfolding in front of us during this time, right through us and through others that we see, and usually through those that we reject in some way, that we don't accept, that we're doing, that we think are our enemies, or that we think that something is wrong with them. What we see wrong in others may very should be our guidance to tell us what are we suppressing within ourselves. And we are now connecting with like-minded souls. Definitely, we are connecting with like-minded souls, and we will see this. We may not agree with them on everything, but we will find the common language there. We are emerging out of this place of isolation and separation, and this desire to keep the status quo will be removed quickly. It's speeding up energy now. Everything is direct, so the status quo needs to go. And the information should lead us into transformation. The age of Aquarius shouldn't be the new cage, but really the new age, the age of transformation, the age of humanity, the age of a true human being. And this new moon invites us and shows us more pieces of that puzzle, and shows us that we are all pieces of that puzzle in our unique and special way, in our diverse way. Not that we are all the same, but that we are all diverse, and through that diversity we create oneness. And I just wanted to share with you that you can find our new horoscopes for 2023 on Moon Omens website. For all of you who want to dive deeper into the energies of 2023, and not only 2023, but it's connected with the past and with the future, and it's actually timeless, but it's focused on these transits and energies. So those of you who want to dive deeper, I suggest and recommend you can check it out, yearly 2023 horoscopes. You can also find many interesting books on our website, and you can find our new 2023 calendars, which are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I forgot to take one with me to show you, but you should check it out. There is also video on this YouTube channel, Moon Omens, of our calendars 2023. It's the most beautiful thing. It's like a portal. It's like it's alive. It's speaking directly to you. And you can meditate with it. You can even take notes, and you will see all important dates there as well, and beautiful images and pictures. So it can also help you reflect and project something beautiful from within, to unfold the story of your soul's history. And that should be all for this new moon in Aquarius. I don't know what else to say, but trust the process and become that true human being. Let's give our best, not to suppress, but to grow and to spread our true authentic selves. Let's not sell ourselves. Let's not be copies. Let's be original selves. I love you all, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.